Hi, welcome to Glow's Kinder Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, it's evening, and I wanted to share a recipe with you that I'm making for tomorrow. And it's for a good friend of mine and co-worker who's been ill, and right now he's supposed to be eating kind of a bland diet. So I wanted to show you the easy steps that I'm taking tonight to make my life easier in the morning. And this is a delicious recipe that I make. It is called chicken and noodles, homemade chicken and noodles. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I started with you guys this evening, I have a chicken here. This is probably 5 pounds, I'm guessing.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. And I washed it all up. And I know they say you don't need to wash your chickens anymore, but I gotta tell you, if I had not washed this, I would not be serving this to anybody. It had feathers on it still, the pen feathers and everything, so I took all of those out and cleaned the inside out really well. So this one definitely got missed a little bit in the process line, but it's a nice chicken. It just needed to be finished as far as cleaning up. Now, what I'm doing is I'm cooking this in my crock pot tonight, overnight on low. So I'm going to cook it for 8 hours on low, and then it'll go to warm so that when I wake up in the morning, I can come in here and remove the chicken, debone it, and then put the bones back in here and the skin so that it even makes the broth better. And it'll help prevent the chicken meat from getting overdone. So what I did before you came on is I took 2 nice carrots, and I did not peel them. I just scrubbed them really well. I have 1.5 onions, and I did not peel it, but when I do this, I always wash my onions first. And then I have 3 stalks of celery here, including the leaves. So you got, and the leaves add a lot of flavor to this. So, and then the other thing I have are all my spices here, and I'm going to go over that with you right now so you know what I have in here. I have 1 teaspoon of marjoram. I have 2 teaspoons of thyme. These are all dried. I have 2 teaspoons of rubbed sage. I have 2 bay leaves. I have 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon, and a shy teaspoon of the black pepper corns. Now, if you don't like a lot of heat or, like pepper in your chicken, by all means, just reduce that amount. If you're concerned about the salt, reduce that. But what I did is I put water in the bottom of this. In fact, I'm going to just pick this up so you can see. And I put the water so it's going up about halfway. I would say there's probably 3 cups of water in here. Might be a tad more, but not much. Just remember to go up about halfway on your chicken. You don't want to go all the way up because you will probably wake up to a mess because this chicken is going to make a lot of broth anyway. And then I have a 1/2 cup of butter here, or I'm sorry, 1/4 cup of butter or 1/2 stick. And I just cut it into small pieces. So it's really easy to assemble. So here's my vegetables that I cut up. And you don't have to cut them up in small pieces by any means. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put quite a few of these into the cavity of the chicken. See what I mean by the leaves?
Yes.
That adds a lot of flavor to your chicken.
Yep.
And then the rest you just want to put around the sides. And this is all going to cook down in here. And see the root of this? I didn't cut that off. You don't need to do that. Main thing is to just make sure they're clean. So that's all there is to that. And then by me going ahead and measuring everything out, it makes it real easy. I'm going to put 1 bay leaf on each side. And then I'm going to just take this and I'm just going to pour it lightly over the chicken and the veggies. And this is all going to work down inside as it's cooking. And when you wake up in the morning, you're going to have one of the best smelling kitchens and homes that you'll just be amazed.
Best in the block.
Yep. Earlier this week, I cooked a pork butt in my crock pot overnight. And I just lightly seasoned it. And when we woke up in the morning, I got to tell you, the kitchen just smelled wonderful, didn't it, Richie?
I sure did.
So now I'm just putting the butter on here. Now see how easy that was?
Looks pretty easy, Miss Chloe.
Yep. So then, I already have this plugged in. Can you see where it's flashing?
Yep.
And then you're just gonna press your little, mine's digital. So I'm just gonna press it until it's lit up on 8 hours. And then when it gets to the 8 hours, it's gonna go to warm. So this will be all ready when I get up in the morning, so I can just remove it and debone it and put the bones back in to continue cooking this broth. And we're gonna have some of the best chicken and noodles ever. So I'll see you in the morning. I hope you have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's the next morning. Good morning. So I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off. It's on warm now. This cooked for 8 hours and then went to warm. So you can take a look at what it looks like. I'm just going to put my lid over here for the moment and get rid of it so it's not in our way. And what I'm going to do now, look at this. This is definitely done.
Also.
I can tell just by looking at it. Oh yeah, look at that. So we're going to take that out and we're going to put it in this dish here so that I can debone it. And let's see how we're going to do this so everybody can see. Will this work? Let's hope so. So what I have is a spatula and I have tongs. I'm going to go underneath the chicken. And
just don't slop it on me. Oh, it's falling apart.
yeah, that's all right. Rather have it like that than the other where it's not done. Oh, look how good that looks. Nice and moist. Oh, yeah.
Smells good too.
Yeah, it really does. So what I'm doing is I'm just removing all the chicken pieces. See, there's a wing, a leg. And I'm going to have to let this cool so that I can take the bones and stuff and put them back in this broth to continue cooking. That's going to make our broth super rich and give it all of its flavor. I'm just making sure I've got most of the chicken. There's some here. There's a piece. And remember, I only put like 3 cups of water in here to start with. And look at all this broth we have.
Filled up.
Yep. I think I got it all. So what I'm going to do now, everybody, is I am going to let this cool. I'm going to debone it and then put the skin and the bones back in here and let them cook again for an additional hour to 2. And then I will come back once I get the skin and bones in here to show you what it looks like. And then we're going to put this on high and let that cook for just a little while. And then we'll put it all together as chicken and noodles. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I got all the chicken deboned. That's quite a bit of chicken there, isn't it?
It's a lot of chick.
Yeah. And last night after we put the chicken in here, I got to thinking, this chicken was probably more like 6 to 6.5 pounds. I kept the smaller one and put it in the freezer. When I bought these, they came in a 2-pack. And it was about 13.5 pounds.
Like carrying a bowling ball.
Yeah, it was heavy. So anyway, this is the what's left. These are just small pieces of chicken that were like around the back and the wings and that kind of thing. And of course the bones. So I'm putting all of that in here.
Dump it in.
And this is going to cook on high on my crock pot for a good hour to 2. And in the meantime, I'm going to season my chicken meat here with salt, lightly season it with salt and pepper and a little of the Knorr chicken seasoning, and let that go through that real well. Because if you remember, I didn't put a whole lot of salt in this broth. For all the broth I have here, there's not that much. So anyway, I got that all mixed up. Oh, also I took all the veggies out that I had put in, and I have them over here, and I'm going to be getting rid of that. They have done their job. So anyway, I'll be back in between an hour and 2 hours, and then we'll go on to the last step. Well, our broth here has been cooking for 2 hours, and I have some other chicken broth in here boiling. And what I'm going to do with that is I am going to be using some egg noodles today. These egg noodles are absolutely delicious. They're from Germany, and they're an egg noodle. I get them at Aldi, and
Whenever they get them in.
yeah, the last time I was there, I bought a whole case of them.
Yep.
Yep, I do make my own noodles, but these are so close to what I make. This makes it so much easier, and they are so good. So what I'm doing today is I'm cooking them in some broth, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in. And I don't know if you noticed, but I had a spoon laying across my pan or my pot here. Reason I do that is so that my broth doesn't boil over. This prevents that.
How does that do that?
You know, I'm not really sure the science behind that. I wish I knew. I guess I could look that up probably, but it definitely works. So let's go ahead and just add more of these egg noodles in. You want to add them into boiling water, just like we're doing. And I don't cook these completely done. Almost done though. But the reason why I don't is that way they absorb some of this other bone broth that I've made. So let's see.
You said you don't do them completely done?
Correct.
I couldn't hear you. The bag was maybe
I'm
long
sorry.
enough.
I'm going to put a few more in. I'm a cook that cooks by sight. So that's probably like 2/3 of that bag. So we're going to just let that cook away there while we're getting on to the next thing. I'm going to put this on about an 8. So and you can cook these in water too, but the reason I do it like this is it gives them more flavor, because after all, this is chicken and noodles. So let's just move this out of the way. So our next step is we're going to get this broth here going. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Okay. I'm going to remove my lid, and I'm just going to put that over here. Get it out of the way. And this broth is hot. So I'm going to be using some pot holders here, and I have a bowl here. I have a colander in this bowl, and I also have a mesh strainer as well. The reason I'm doing both is because this mesh strainer doesn't fit over this bowl well, but by using both together, my broth will definitely be, you know, strained really well.
Strained fine.
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and just lift this up. Here, take a look at that. Doesn't that look yummy?
Looking good, Miss Chloe.
Smells really good.
Yeah, it does smell good here.
And you just want to slowly
take it slow.
Pour it in.
Get a good grip on it.
I'm going to go ahead and just set that back in there. There we go. And I'm going to let this strain through. So I'll be back in just a few minutes until, you know, I'm going to wait until this gets completely strained through, and I'll probably get a spoon to help me with it. I could even use like this teaspoon here. But it's just the skin and the bones. And looks like I've got all the broth out of here. So we're good to go.
Looks like it all came out.
Yeah, I'm going to let it set here for just a little bit because there's still some broth in here and you don't want to waste that. So I'll be back in just a few minutes and we're going to go on to the next step. Okay, so I got my broth all strained, and as you can see, look at that, you guys.
All right, wait a minute.
Hardly anything left.
Yep.
There is some bones in the inside this crock pot too, but I got to show you this. Look at this beautiful broth. So,
Looking good.
what do you? I have some grease on the top. You got to remember, I did put a half a stick of butter in there, and then of course the skin. But this chicken wasn't what you call fatty by any means. Just had feathers. That's why we had to clean it good. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get some of this grease off. I just wanted to show you how I do it.
Oh. Okay.
See how that grease is pouring down in there? I'm just got this setting right on top.
Yes.
There. I'm going to just put it right in here. Let's do a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to do this, and then I'm going to be back, and then I'm going to show you a little trick that I do also for my broth.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
so you can see the fat that I took off of that. There's a little bit still, but that's okay because it's going to add flavor. So now in this, what I have is some gelatin, just plain gelatin. I'm going to get the little box here so you see it. Comes in envelopes. I put 2 teaspoons in with some broth. I'm going to just add a little bit more broth now. And you just mix that up. And you're probably going, well, why would you be doing that? Well, do you know how, like, sometimes when you get a broth and it's just very, like, velvety when you're eating it and it just tastes so good? A lot of times they do this, or it's bone broth, like what I made today. And this is going to be a really nice velvety broth. You could add more if you want, and I might end up adding more, but I'm going to start with this. So that's what I wanted to show you here. And I'm just mixing this up so it gets all nice and blended. Have you guys ever used gelatin in your broths? I'd like to know. It's I hadn't started doing that until about like 4 years ago probably. I read an article about it and I thought, that's a great idea because it does really help to make your broth gelatinous and velvety. And it's added nourishment. There we go. Got all blended nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix this into this broth. It's going to be such a good broth. So I'm going to sample this right now and see if we need any additional salt or pepper or what we may need. I think it's okay for right now. And the reason I'm saying that, I would prefer to have extra pepper in it. But the person that I'm making this for has problems right now with their intestines. And so I just don't think that's a great idea to do that. I want to kind of keep it kind of bland and nourishing. So I'm going to leave it like this, and if they want to add more pepper, they can. If they want to add more salt, they can. But that's the reason. So here's my chicken that I did put salt and pepper in this as well. So it might be just fine by the time I get this all put together. So I'm going to add some of this to this right now. And as you can see, some of the pieces are small and some of them are big like that. I think I'll just pull that one apart a little. Yes, my hands are clean.
We assume that.
One thing that helps me in the kitchen is I always keep a sink of warm, sudsy water. And it just really helps to keep things sanitary. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of these egg noodles. And let me wash my hands so I can get to that. And instead of just draining these egg noodles, I'm just going to do it like this. This is a pasta spoon. I'm just going to put some of them in. And I'm not going to make this real thick because these noodles are going to absorb some of this stock that we just made. Have you guys ever made chicken and noodles before? If you have or haven't, just let me know. It's one of our family's favorites.
Especially when you got a cold or you're sick.
Yeah, or if you got people coming in after traveling all day, there's nothing better than to sit down to something like this. Look how yummy that looks, you guys.
Looking good.
Yeah. So I'm going to let this set for probably about 5 minutes or so, and we're going to see what the consistency is like once these noodles absorb some of this broth. And all I can say is it really smells good. I'll see you back in just a few minutes. Okay, so take a look at this, you guys. Doesn't that look good?
It is good. I just sampled it.
Yeah. I'm going to sample it, and we're going to see. I did add 1 teaspoon of salt. I did Himalayan salt, just so you know.
Yeah, it wasn't salty enough.
This is really good. Mmm. Mmm. That broth is very velvety. It's delicious. And that chicken is so moist. And those noodles, you guys, people will think those are homemade. And they're not. It's just delicious. And I got to say, I am very particular about stuff like that. And this is just dynamite. So what I'm going to do to make this up for them is I'm going to put this in a casserole dish. And that way they could probably just put it in the oven and warm it. And I'll give them some extra broth to put on in case it does absorb. But I hope you guys try this. It's really good. I think your family and your friends would really enjoy it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me. That's what I'm here for, is to help everybody. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. We really appreciate your support, and share with your friends. We'll talk to you later. Bye.